Hi, it's Teatime with Shirley again, and we're live on Facebook. And this time I've got my cup of tea. I didn't drink it all. I've got to try and remember where the camera is. It's up there. I've put a big orange sticker on my phone, but I'll keep forgetting. What I wanted to talk to you today about, well, I didn't really know for a start. I was really confused and was just thinking I have a few things I'd like to talk about, but I also like to play it as it is and just see what comes up. Hi Mary, nice to meet you to join me in my cup of tea. I saved some for you. So I wanted today to talk about creating and confidence, and I'm just working on a new project this week and realizing that it's in my head. In one way, you begin to believe you can do something, and so for me I was like, yeah, sure, I can paint that, I've got no problem doing that, I would like the challenge. And then when you actually sit down to do it, there's this feeling that comes in of self-doubt, of self-criticism, of that you can't do it, and that it's just not gonna, evening Mary, that it's not possible. And it's just a case of you having to push past that and remind yourself that you wouldn't have taken it on if you didn't believe A, it was possible, and B, it wouldn't have even come into your life if this wasn't something you could do. And I really believe in that. I really believe that we're not given anything in life that we can't cope with, and that we're not capable of. And so it's really easy for us to fall back into this belief that we're not capable and that we're not good enough. And yet it wouldn't be here if we weren't capable, and it wouldn't be something we would say yes to. It wouldn't be even in our thoughts if it wasn't something that wasn't available to us already. And it's just tapping into that that power that already is within us. It's said we're made in the eyes of the Creator, or in God, or that we're part of all one. And so if we're part of the same thing that can make universes and can grow plants and can make nature, then there's no reason why we can't access that same power, that same energy, that same creativity. And it's within all of us, and it's not just within some of us. And yeah, there's different areas of fields of speciality, but we all have that innate power within us to just to do what we're presented with, and to stand up and believe in ourselves, and to go forwards and not prove to ourselves, but just explore and see the possibility of growth there, and excitement, and not get caught up in the fear of it, not get caught up in, oh my god, what if it looks shit? What if it does look shit? I've just painted my first ever human and it was okay, it's not amazing. It's but so what if it looks shit? I can have a laugh, and then I can try again, and I can have another laugh, and I can keep trying, and eventually maybe I'll just say, do you know what, humans aren't my thing, that's okay. But it wouldn't come into my field, and I wouldn't have said yes to it if I didn't really believe deep down, of course I can do this. And so that's part of the creation. So do you have any questions, Mary? You're the only one. Oh, thank you. Well, he's not I'll show you the second human. Oh, hang on, I'm coming back. I'll leave you with my cup of tea. Here's my cup of tea, I'm coming back. So actually I ended up painting this one in the end. So this was a different human. But it was, it's a challenge, and I'm still not happy with it, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's just a case of pushing past it. And I've noticed, I've got my sixth book that I've got with the editor now, and she actually wants me to send her through the pictures. Now, I only did pictures 1 to 5, and then I stopped because fear got in the way. And now she wants me to send through the pictures because she wants to see how it's going to look as an overall book. And I could feel that self-doubt coming in this morning. I could feel it kind of kicking in, and me starting to doubt myself. How do I stop procrastinating enough to be able to give it a go? Do you know what, Mary? It's you've just got to push past it. And you've got to call yourself out on it. You've got to just say, and I'm the best one at creating drama for procrastination. So I will create all kinds of drama in my life. I'll have arguments with my son, with my boyfriend. I'll injure myself. It'll just anything I will do to stop the creative process. And it gets to a point where it becomes so painful. Hi, Lindsay. So we're just talking about how do I stop procrastinating enough to give it a go, like to do something creative. So I was saying it gets to a point where it becomes too painful not to do it. And it feels so rotten inside. Like for me, especially if there's something I really want to do creatively, or a book I want to work on, it becomes so horrible, the feeling inside that I can't do it, and then I'm stopping myself doing it, that it's almost like I kind of scream at myself and just go, do you know what, I'm just going to do it. And then I do it, and then I start, and then I realise that it's not so bad. But it doesn't ever go away, that fear and procrastination. So every time I sit back down at my desk to do the painting, even during the painting, I'll stop and I'll go make a cup of tea and I'll be like, ugh. And so you just have to call yourself out on it, and then you have to be ultra aware of it and just kind of push past it, really. It's just a case of, yeah. And it's a tough one. It comes up every time for me, Mary. It really does. So, do you have any other questions? That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, like, yeah. Yeah, I think we all do. And I think, for me, just knowing and being ultra aware, I've started to really know when I'm just bullshitting myself and when I'm procrastinating for the sake of it, and when I'm creating drama. And it's almost like I can step back out of myself and witness the drama I'm creating, and can just be like, what are you doing? Just pick up the paintbrush. and it's in those moments that I can stop myself. Self-discipline is a big one, and it's something I struggle with, but then I am also kind to myself. So, like, I don't think there's a thing about pushing through it. You have tea, I have fun. Gin and tonic, I presume, not fun and tonic. How do you know there's not tonic in this? I mean gin. Yeah, what was I talking about? So, I think there's a feeling that we have to, with self-discipline, be really tough and really force ourselves to work. And I don't believe it's like that, but I do believe you have to have the initial just push past that resistance, to get past that resistance, and to just to start the work. But then I believe that once you start the work, then the flow kicks in, and then that's when you're in flow. And for me, like when I'm writing and when I'm painting, and I allow myself to open up and allow it to come through me, then there's no self-discipline, because it's just pure joy and it's just pure creating. And then you'll feel there's resistance again, and it's almost because you've closed off yourself to the possibility of infinite creation and infinite source energy flowing through you. It's almost like that's when I like seize up, and then I have to kind of let go again and allow myself to just put pen to paper, trust in the process. And some of it is just trusting that it's in you, trusting in a greater force. If, like, for me, like, God and the force within me are all one and the same. Like, I'm not religious, I'm very spiritual. I believe in that we're part of this big, great, huge creative cosmic intelligence, and that is within us. And that it comes through us, and that ideas and that things that want to be created, they're there bouncing around, and they just are waiting for someone to grab them, see them, and do it and instrument them. So trust, such a good word. What does trust mean to you, Mary? I'm putting you on the spot. While you're typing or thinking, like, for me, trust is a sense of peace and the sense of knowing that it's there already. And that takes me right back to what I said at the beginning, that it wouldn't come into our lives, or we wouldn't have it in our minds, and it wouldn't be around if we weren't capable of executing it. And so it's trusting that you have exactly what it takes to to execute your plan, or to write your story, or to paint your picture, or to like decorate your home, or to cook amazing meal. You know, if the idea wasn't, it wouldn't come into your consciousness. Trust sounds delicious, but I feel it's unobtainable at times. Wow, yeah, that's a big one. I love that trust sounds delicious. But then to me that makes it sound like some gorgeous feast that I can taste bits of. And I think the important thing is to not get hung up that it's unobtainable sometimes, because it is for me. And then that's the times when you've got to go within yourself, and trust yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that it comes, for me, when I'm struggling to trust, is because she can do it, can't she, Lindsay? For me, trust is ultimately all about trusting yourself, because it's trusting that you have this infinite power within you that created worlds. Your cells don't question that they can't reproduce, that they can't just function. Your body doesn't question it can't breathe. It's just infinitely, continually, hi Caroline, creating. And so it's trusting that all of that power, all of that knowledge, all of that real cosmic intelligence and force and creation is in you anyway. And it's about, so trusting yourself, and trusting in the process, and trusting that once you start, it will come. And if it doesn't come, that's okay, because you just got to keep going at it and it will come. And I remember thinking, I was listening and reading about someone who was like, you have to be a professional writer, you have to sit at your desk from 9 till 5 every single day. And that worked for him, but it doesn't work for me. And then I was listening to someone else who was talking, and she said, she was a mum, and she said, I binge write. I get to a point when I just know I've got to go write, and then I'll go take myself to a cafe for the day or to a hotel for the weekend, and I just write constantly. And then I go back to my life, and I'm a mum, and I'm not doing stuff. And for me, that's how I write. It's like I don't have this... I am quite disciplined in the sense that I do have my structure in my day where I'll sit and try and work, but if it's not ready to come, I don't force it. And I'll know when it's ready to come because I start feeling horrible and all yucky. And then I'll actually just go and sit in a cafe, and then I'll binge write for an hour or two. And so that's also part of the self-discipline, is just knowing your own rhythm, knowing your own, how it shows up in your life, and how you best work. And it's also always an exploration. So sometimes I work well in a cafe, sometimes I work well in bed, sometimes I work well on my settee in my pajamas. I don't necessarily work well sat at a desk. so that's why I don't work like that. So so Mary, just trust yourself, trust in the infinite power within you, and don't get caught up if that trust is unobtainable. Just feast in it. Remember, it's delicious. I love that. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining me. I'm going to be back next week, same time, 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 p.m. UK and 12 p.m. Pacific. So all these different time zones. And I'll be showing more stuff in the week. So thanks ever so much for joining me. Love to you all. Bye.